In the news tonight, curfew hour now shifted an hour back to begin at 8 p.m. Smokers at higher risk of developing severe COVID-19. And private sector stepping up to help stakeholders.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Atera Lendua.
Good evening, Fiji. The curfew for Viti Levu has been shifted back and will come into effect in the next hour as Fiji has received or achieved 50.9% full vaccination of the target population. Permanent Secretary for Health Dr. James Fong says the latest vaccination update at 1 p.m. today reveals that Fiji's vaccination rate continues on an upward trend. Christiana Uluwai reports.
The Permanent Secretary for Health adds that while the change of the curfew hours means more time to carry out other essential activities, certain restriction in place still needs to be followed.
There will be a change in the curfew hours from today. The communications people are putting it out that from today we will be moving up to 8 p.m.
Minister for Health Dr. Ifiremi Wanganembete says their priority is to ensure that those who have not been vaccinated receives their jab.
Our task is to ensure that we all do our parts in terms of the health protection, in terms of working with the other government agencies in getting our people to be vaccinated. And we are grateful that many people are becoming vaccinated.
Prime Minister Vorengi Bainimarama had previously stated that curfew will start from 8 p.m. once we reach the 50% fully vaccinated threshold. 60% threshold will allow the lifting of the containment area borders in Viti Levu. At the 70% threshold, the curfew will start at 10 p.m. and once we fully vaccinate 80% of our target population, the curfew will start at 11 p.m. Christiana Uluwai, FBC News.
People who smoke are among those who are vulnerable to the severity of coronavirus. Minister for Health, Dr. Ifiremi Wanganembete says they have classified smoking as a comorbidity. Christiana Uluwai reports the World Health Organization also reveals that smoking endangers people's lives.
Ultimately, smokers are more likely to die from COVID-19 disease than someone who has never smoked.
Experts reveal that smokers are in a death trap when it comes to COVID-19 and are at a high risk of dying.
We now know that the evidence strongly indicates that smokers are up to 50% more likely to suffer worse from COVID-19 disease.
The Ministry of Health says they are also analyzing data of the COVID deaths recorded to determine any possible links to smoking.
But certainly, in terms of the patients that we've had that have come through, as we know, a significant number of them are the elderly population and also those with comorbidities.
According to the Health Ministry, 16.6% of Fijians smoke every day. Smoking is a major risk factor for lung disease such as cancer, Fiji's fourth biggest killer. Christiana Uluwai, FBC News.
The private sector is doing its part to expedite the fully vaccination of eligible Fijians in an effort to achieve herd immunity and allow for more commercial transactions. Minister for Economy Ayasaid Kayum says the vaccine lottery that was announced by the Prime Minister is funded by the private sector. Koretandulala reports.
Business houses and organizations have stepped forward to assist relevant stakeholders in encouraging Fijians to get vaccinated.
They recognize it is in the interest of the country that once we achieve herd immunity, we can have a lot more transactions, commercial transactions, people go back to work. You know, organizations like FNPF obviously want more people to go back to work because their members' funds will increase contribution.
The Minister for Economy says the contribution from the various organizations amounted to $300,000 in prize money.
It's not taxpayers' money, it's not, an allocation specifically budgeted for that's coming from taxpayers' money. We're actually getting it funded purely by the private sector.
The Fiji Commerce and Employers Federation says vaccination is key to increase domestic economic activity.
Once we have the numbers that we are targeting to be vaccinated, the international borders will open, and that is when we start to see the benefits flow back into the country.
The first draw of $8,000 will be held on Tuesday to coincide with the 8th anniversary of our Constitution, and the second draw will be held on Fiji Day with $51,000 in prize money in recognition of Fiji's 51st anniversary of independence. Koroy Tandulala, FBC News.
While the COVID-19 pandemic has led to a surge in e-commerce, it has also increased fraudulent online transactions. The Consumer Council has received 150 complaints against online traders in a year, with the monetary value standing at around $25,000. Pranita Prakash reports.
The Consumer Council is working closely with the Criminal Investigation Department to investigate complaints about fraudulent online transactions.
Council have also received a lot of complaints against online businesses.
Complaints pertaining to e-commerce, given that there is a spike in the number of businesses operating on online platforms. So it's expected that the number of complaints pertaining to e-commerce will increase.
The consumer watchdog is concerned that some online traders are trying to swindle consumers from this shift to online trading.
For issues such as, extensive delay in delivery of items, receiving payments for items which is out of stock, non-disclosure of charges, delivery of wrong items. And there have been instances where they were forced to, take substitute or alternative products for what they have ordered. And then there were no timely redress provided to consumers.
Consumers have been urged to verify the authenticity of social media operators by checking whether or not the trader has a physical address and valid contact details. Police are also investigating multiple complaints in relation to fraudulent online transactions. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
To our latest COVID-19 update for today. Fiji recorded 253 new COVID-19 infections for the period ending at 8 a.m. yesterday. 163 cases are from the West, 59 from the Central, and 31 from the Eastern Division. The Health Ministry also recorded 3 COVID-19 deaths between 31st August to 2nd September. 2 are from the Western Division and 1 from the Central. Fiji has recorded 46,141 cases since April this year. There are now 19,463 active cases with 25,951 recoveries in total. The COVID-19 death toll now stands at 489. The vaccination campaign also continues around the country. In the latest update, 565,239 or 96.4% of the target population have received their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. 291,647 or 50.9% have received their second dose. The 5 most vaccinated areas include Ba, Rewa, Nandronga and Tasiri, which are all 100% first jabbed. Next is Nandi. Sulueti Malua of Suva is fully vaccinated. Have you received your jab yet? Up ahead, 2 arrested for allegedly attempting to import drugs, and work on Lekutu Secondary School in progress. Welcome back. A joint effort between police and other agencies has led to the arrest of 2 Fijian who allegedly attempting to import illegal drugs into the country. The arrest was made possible through a joint collaboration between police, Fiji Revenue Customs Services, Post Fiji Limited and international law enforcement partners. Commissioner of Police Brigadier General Sitiveni Ngilio says while the global attention remained on the pandemic, collaboration on tackling transnational crimes continued in earnest. He says collaboration through sharing of information between multi-agencies has been key to the success of this operation. More information will be released upon the completion of the investigation. 8 months after its classrooms were totally destroyed by Category 5, Tisiasa Lekutu Secondary School is being rebuilt thanks to financial help from the Australian government. The country has also sent its men and women in the Defence Forces to build the classrooms, which will have the capability to withstand Category 5 cyclones. Eleanor View has more.
Laying foundation for what will be the first permanent built classrooms for Tropical Cyclone Yasa rehabilitation in the Northern Division.
The partnership of our Australian government and the Fiji government in the rehabilitation of our northern schools after Tropical Cyclone Yasa has shown greater impacts in our quick recovery and return to normalcy.
The project will include the construction of 8 new classrooms, ablution blocks, the boys' dormitory, a dining hall and 4 teachers' quarters.
Today we are turning another new chapter as we see the construction of a first permanent built school classroom, which will house the hundreds and even thousands of the future generation of the district of Lekutu, providing them with a good and much safer learning environment.
Demolition of the damaged buildings was done 2 weeks ago, with excavation works commencing last week. Construction is expected to be completed by November 14, and any leftover work will be completed next year.
Over the past few weeks, it has been made clear that education infrastructure is a key priority for the Martinitu and the people of Fiji, and the reconstruction of education infrastructure such as these classrooms is part of Australia's commitment to Fiji in support of and in the spirit of the Vivali Partnership.
A total of 35 ADF personnel are heading the project, with support from 25 RFMF engineers. Eleanor View, FBC News.
It was an early Father's Day gift for 16 heads of families in the Naitasiri containment area, having not to worry about their food ration for at least the next week. This is after a humanitarian and charity group based in Nandawa stepped in to assist by distributing food packs and other essentials needed to every household during these trying times. Josaina Nunga reports.
It was after reading, listening and watching the plight of Fijians in the Naitasiri containment area that prompted members of this Nandawa charity group to step in for assistance.
We also have sanitary pads to cover up for the women who might be having problems buying them, and also sanitizers, which will help combat the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic.
I have been playing both a role as a father and being a mother to my children after the passing of my husband. The struggle we endure for the past few months till now is unprecedented. We are thankful for the assistance, especially receiving that much-needed item for us ladies.
These food packs consist of necessities that will ensure a decent meal for family members, has been part of their ongoing support since last year.
We started our distribution when we had Mother's Day. We distributed food packs a day before Mother's Day, and now we are distributing food packs a day before Father's Day, at least something for our fathers.
Naitasiri farmer Felipe Nachoritani says the assistance is timely, as he is more worried about celebrating Father's Day in a special way this weekend.
For the past few days, I've been worried as I don't have enough money to buy food, especially for Father's Day. But with this assistance, I'm really grateful that this is all that we need.
Lingam says they've assisted 552 families with $50 food packs, amounting to $27,600. The group concluded 11 phases in round 1 and assisted 431 families, amounting to $21,550. Jose Nanunga, FBC News.
Commercial farmers have welcomed the announcement of the curfew that has been shifted an hour back to begin at 8 p.m. as it gives them more time to do business. Most farmers have been struggling to sell all their produce in time at the border for the past 5 months before the sun sets and curfew closes in. Josaina Nunga reports.
Many farmers have been contemplating the moving of curfew hour further back and eventually the lifting of the containment borders.
The past few weeks we can't really concentrate and enjoy our selling here at the market as curfew starts from 6 p.m. We hope that our business will flourish very soon as COVID cases are beginning to drop over the past few days.
Some farmers say they do not earn enough money from selling at the border compared to when they used to sell at the market. Many of these commercial farmers operating here at the Sawani border are waiting eagerly for the reopening of borders. A good number of these farmers have endured losses in recent months while operating business here.
We are waiting for the opening of borders. I have been planting and selling cover for decades, but my business went down since April as most of my customers are unable to turn up here at the border to buy my produce. I'm longing to transport my produce to the supermarket and meet with my buyers. I have been struggling for the past few months.
These Naita Siri farmers are optimistic that the situation will return to some state of normalcy before the festive season begins. Jose Yananunga, FBC News.
Welcome back. The possibility of the Fijian Drua playing a home game next season is unlikely, according to the Fiji Rugby Union. Drua Interim Chief Executive Brian Thorburn says, in terms of the regular competition, it's really difficult to leave the option open for our Drua playing at home.
Identified a squad of 38 and some additional players.
A few legs of the World 7 Series will not go ahead as planned due to the coronavirus pandemic that continues to affect gaming schedules. World Rugby says the health and welfare of players, fans and wider society remains a top priority as all stakeholders continue to closely monitor global developments with the COVID-19 pandemic. World Rugby has confirmed the Singapore Sevens and Cape Town Sevens planned for the 29th and 30th of October and 10th to 12th of December will not go ahead as planned this year. In addition, the Sydney and Hamilton Sevens will not be part of the series due to ongoing travel and logistical challenges associated in the region. However, there are discussions ongoing towards replacement hosts for these events in the 2022 series. Olympian Chasa Vermaloa has signed with Israel-based club Tel Aviv Heat and will feature in the upcoming Rugby Europe Super Cup. Tel Aviv Heat Director of Rugby and head coach Kevin Muzikant says Vermaloa is an athlete who, despite winning an Olympic gold medal and having played for the best sevens team in the world over 120 times, still shows genuine humility and ultimate commitment to the team. Vermaloa says it is a dream come true as he has always wanted to visit Israel and is excited for the upcoming season. He debuted for Fiji at the 2013 Wellington Sevens and went on to represent Fiji at the Rio Olympics where the team won gold. There are a few sports who have the potential to qualify for the upcoming Commonwealth Games. With the pandemic still affecting most sporting meets, the Fiji Association of Sports and National Olympic Committee will be vetting the performances of each sport in order to take its athletes across. Venina Rakautonga reports the Commonwealth Games will be held in England in less than a year.
So far, only the men's sevens rugby team has qualified for the Commonwealth Games, with more awaiting qualifying tournaments.
So any team sport, which would be beach volleyball, hockey, rugby sevens, and on top of that is, I think, table tennis and definitely weightlifting. They will have to qualify.
Fasanok Chief Executive Lorraine Ma says they have their own criteria for taking a Team Fiji contingent to Birmingham.
We have a minimum qualification criteria for each of the different types of games. So for the Pacific Games there's one, for the Commonwealth Games there's one, and the Olympic Games there's one.
The Fiji National Sports Commission has set aside $500,000 for the participation and preparation of the 15 eligible sporting federations.
So at the beginning of a cycle,
nearly all of our sports athletes and teams can work towards that goal. And we've got 44 different sports, and most of them are now Olympic sports.
The Storm defeated the Sharks 28-16 to lock up a fourth minor premiership title in 6 years. It was Ryan Peppenhausen's hat-trick that assisted the side to a winning streak. Fiji Bati and Panthers hooker Apisai Koroisau scored a try for Penrith Panthers to help take down the Parramatta Eels 40-6 in round 25 of the NRL last night. And it was Brian Tho'o's hat-trick that led the Panthers' victory over to depleted Eels outfit. Tho'o crossed in the 5th, 44th and 66th minutes in Penrith, raced away to round out their regular season in fine touch. Mostly fine conditions prevailed over the group today. Looking at the west, beautiful with a blend of sun and clouds. Eastwards from Pacific Harbour to Suva, breezy this morning with cloudy afternoon. Up north, nice with sun and areas of low clouds. At sea, easterly winds 20 to 25 knots, rough seas. Turning to the tides, the next high tide is at 4:47 tomorrow morning, with low tide at 11:24 a.m. Sunrise is at 6:11. For tomorrow, similar conditions can be expected. The outlook for Monday, occasional rain over the northern parts and interior of Viti Levu and Vono Levu, the Lau and Lomai Viti groups. Recapping our main stories, curfew hour now shifted an hour back to begin at 8 p.m. Smokers at high risk of developing severe COVID-19 and private sector stepping up to help stakeholders. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station, Gold FM. To our poll question, this week we're asking, should anyone found cheating the system for government assistance be charged? Visit our website to take part. Send us newsworthy pictures and videos, email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via our various social media accounts. And you can also download our FBC app to keep updated with the very latest in news and sports and listen to our 6 radio stations live. That's your news for tonight. I'll see you again tomorrow. Padamanda.